Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Kenzie's Krimes.
Milwaukee police found body parts in a North Side apartment.
Not because I was angry with them, not because I hated them, but because I wanted to keep them with me.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
This is evil, what those people have done to me.
See, says Heaven's Gate awaiting.
I'm not guilty.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 with another edition of Kenzie's Krimes, a deep dive into a local murder, mystery, or drama. Myself and Case are like you out there. We don't know what Kenzie's about to bring to the table, so we sit back and listen to Kenzie tell us a story.
So Richland County is a county in southeastern Illinois. It's made up of several small communities within that county, and it's mainly a farming area and region. So a small place, most people know each other, and it has that, friendly small town energy, very like, let's film a Hallmark movie. It's bringing that. Okay.
So there's some, rich baron whose daughter is there, and then the guy comes in, and she's going to break up with the guy she's dating because the guy from high school, and get back together, and they're going to live in Richland.
Okay, so that's the story.
I always feel sick to my stomach whenever I'm in a small town.
Why is that?
It's not for me.
Well, you're here. It's okay. You don't have to go through.
Don't get sick.
Yeah.
I get all torn up.
Just like vomit on me. Get away from me.
It's just not for me.
Oh.
This is like opposite of what Case would want. So on August 23rd, 2005, Deputy Robert Blythe with the Richland County, Illinois Sheriff's Department is on duty, right? It's just after 3 a.m. It's been a quiet night, no surprise, because it's a pretty quiet community. And then all of a sudden, Deputy Blythe gets a call from dispatch on his radio. Dispatch claimed they had a call and there was a lot of screaming on the line. They couldn't make much out except for a couple very scary details. Someone had been shot and somebody had been stabbed.
Whoa.
Deputy Blythe rushes to the home in Claremont where he finds absolute chaos. A pregnant woman came running towards the officer saying someone inside was shot, somebody else inside had also been stabbed. Both of them were inside her home. He tried to calm her down, kept her outside, and then he goes to enter the home. The first thing he saw was an injured man on the floor laying on his back, trying to drag his own body towards the door.
Wow, it's like a movie.
Then he sees someone he knows, 23-year-old Jackie Jackson. He yelled towards the officer, "Robbie, I've shot him." He's talking to the officer, Robert, right? So Deputy Blythe makes sure paramedics are en route before getting Jackie's story. The officer felt, based on the amount of blood on the scene, that the victim maybe wouldn't make it. Not far from the victim that was shot, there was another victim found on the floor. He was still alive, but he was losing a lot of blood. Beside him lay a knife on the kitchen floor. The deputy continues to search the home and finds a third victim in the utility room, a woman also badly injured, struggling to stay alive with multiple stab wounds. While EMTs were on the way, the deputy asked the young man he had known for almost his whole life, what happened? Jackie said the man who was shot on the floor was an intruder, and the man and woman laying on the floor stabbed were a mother and son, Jacqueline Bennett and Joshua Bennett. Jackie says the intruder stabbed the mother and son. No one knew who that man was. And again, this is a small town where everyone seemed to know each other. So that was very strange that he'd never seen this man's face before. Paramedics arrive. Both Jacqueline and the attacker are alive. However, by the time they arrived, 20-year-old Joshua Bennett had lost too much blood and didn't make it.
No.
Joshua Bennett was born in 1985 in the small town of Mattoon, Illinois. His parents, Jacqueline and Jerry, divorced in the early 90s. Joshua then spent most of his childhood with his father. In 2004, after graduating from high school, Joshua wanted to go into the service. In July 2005, 20-year-old Joshua had been stationed in Louisiana. Just before he was being deployed to Iraq, he received devastating news that his father had suddenly passed away. Joshua went on leave and went back to his hometown. While back in town, he was encouraged to reconnect with his mother. He was reluctant to do so, but still decided to reconnect and was working on his relationship with her because it was his last living parent. He was staying at her house and they were having a cookout, and within hours of that, he was lying on the floor dying. Jackie and Lindsay, the pregnant woman, and the man who shot the intruder are safe but clearly in distress. Detectives then arrive on the scene, trying to make sense of the chaos. And I'm going to pause right here because they do not know the people who attacked them at all. And the people who attacked them don't know them. And what you're about to hear as the reason as to why they were attacked is so not on your radar. It is going to blow your mind.
I mean, this thing started off like a Quentin Tarantino movie right out of the gate. So I can't wait to hear what the rest of this goes to. The conclusion of Kenzie's Crimes with Brian and Kenzie on Q101 coming up in just 3 minutes.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 with the conclusion, and I imagine a wild start to this Kenzie Crimes. And the conclusion right now, if you want to catch us up a little bit of what's going on, Kenzie, to get people who just jumped in.
Absolutely. So Officer Blythe on August 25th, 2005, arrives on scene to a pregnant woman running towards him, screaming that people have been shot and stabbed inside the household. He walks in a house, sees a young man, Jackie, that he's known his whole life. He sees 2 people stabbed, 1 person shot. 23-year-old Jackie Jackson, who he has known his entire life, explains to the officers that the 2 people who were stabbed were actually a mother and son, and the person laying on the floor shot was actually the intruder who attacked them. Unfortunately, the son, Joshua, who was 20 years old, didn't make it, and it was at a time that he was just finally reconnecting with his mother.
Wow.
Jackie was eager to speak with officers as they arrived on the scene, and he explains what happened on that August 22nd. Joshua came to stay with his mother, Jacqueline, and her boyfriend, Lee. So Joshua was reconnecting with his mother, Jacqueline, because he ended up growing up with his father instead. She at the time's living with her boyfriend, Lee, and Jackie is Lee's son. So it was basically 2 parents who are dating and then their children, okay, are in the house.
Yep.
Jackie and his pregnant girlfriend, Lindsay, were both living there. So I'm going to add one more person. The pregnant woman running towards the officer at the beginning, Lindsay, they were all in that house. So you have Jacqueline and Lee who are dating, Jacqueline's son, Joshua, who was just staying while he was on leave, and then Jackie and Lindsay, so Lee's son and his girlfriend, and she's pregnant. They were all in this home, so very busy home.
See, Case, in small towns, everybody lives in one house.
I know. It's not for me.
Not a lot of personal space here. So
I love having space.
Yeah. You're not going to get it. So Jackie claimed him and Lindsay were asleep when he was awakened just after 3 a.m. He heard loud noises from downstairs and Joshua calling for help. He woke his girlfriend up and told her to run to the neighbor's house. He loaded his 12-gauge shotgun, and when he got to the main floor, he saw 2 men in ski masks wearing all black, stabbing Joshua in the chest.
Whoa.
One of them, he hit off of Joshua, like using the gun, like hit him with the gun. And the other grabbed the barrel of the gun, and that's when Jackie pulled the trigger. Jackie dropped the gun, panicked after shooting someone. The other attacker ran at him with a knife. Jackie was able to take control of the attacker's hands, like while his hands were still on it, and jam the knife into the attacker's leg, and he ran off. So there's actually 2 attackers. One was able to escape. Lindsay managed to get out of the home to the neighbor's house and call 911. Officers head to the hospital to interrogate the attacker that was on the floor from the gunshot wound because he was taken away by EMTs, okay? His name was David Linder. He was 29 years old. He said the other attacker's name was Ricky, but he didn't know his last name. When asked why they would do this, David responded with, "The lady put a hex on us and we had to kill her."
What?
Investigators go to the surviving victim, Jacqueline, and asked what in the world is going on. They do share with her that Joshua died trying to save her, and she was absolutely devastated. She said she was actually attacked first, and Joshua heard the commotion and ran in to help her. They asked her about the hex and the witchcraft, and she was also shocked and confused. Her boyfriend, Lee Jackson, had also been at work at that time, so he didn't know what was going on either. A local call came in from a hospital. A man with a stab wound on his leg, and he wouldn't say how he got it. The man was 38-year-old Oscar R. Eck. The R stood for Richard. He said everyone calls him Ricky. So they're like, okay, we think we got him.
Yo, Ricky.
Yeah, like Ricky, stab wound in the leg. Won't say where he got it from.
Yeah.
He told officers it was actually from a drywall incident while at work. Officers were pretty confident that was not the truth.
I've used that excuse 100 times.
While they were questioning Oscar, 2 women walked up, Jenny Wolf and Irina Kottner. They were there to pick Oscar up from the hospital, and their behavior seemed very nervous. Oscar enters the hospital under the police watch to receive treatment. Investigators ask 34-year-old Irina Kotner and 20-year-old Jenny Wolf to come to the station for questioning. Jenny and Irina both denied knowing about the murder. And they got to leave because they just said, we don't know what's going on, and we were just helping our friend Oscar. They ran background checks on everyone and decided to visit Oscar's address that they had on hand. His roommate is there, Misty, and officers ask if she knows anything about the murder or his injury. While questioning her, officers noticed there is a book about witchcraft sitting in Oscar's home. They ask Misty to come to the station for questioning. She admits she knows both Irina and Jenny. They were all interested in witchcraft. Misty claims that Irina made herself the leader of their so-called little coven. Irina seemed to focus on women a lot younger than her. Jenny Wolf, who was only 20, said she had been unofficially adopted by Irina. They lived together and Jenny looked up to her. After a year of innocent seances, cleansing of spaces, and candlelit meditation, things took a darker turn. Misty claimed sometime in the spring of 2005, Irina started constantly complaining about a hex that had been put on her. Several of Irina's dogs began to die, and her friends believed maybe it had happened because of the hex.
Good Lord.
Irina said someone was poisoning them as a coven, so this hex is going to affect all of them. Misty was suffering from migraines and depression, and Irina blamed those things on the hex as well. Irina said the hex was placed on them by Lindsay, the pregnant woman that fled for her life at the beginning of this story. It turns out Jackie, the father of Lindsay's child, who protected her against the attackers, is Irina's ex-boyfriend. They had a relationship for about 4 years that ended in November 2004. She was 10 years older than him, and apparently he broke up with Irina to be with Lindsay, who was much closer to his age. Irina couldn't handle it. After this, Irina brought Misty's roommate Oscar into her group, or small coven, and convinced him that Lindsay had also hexed him. She was able to have an influence on everyone in the group. They all believed Lindsay Kassinger had hexed their lives. Irina told them that there was only one solution to free them of the hex that had been placed upon them, and that was to kill Lindsay and her unborn child. Misty said that at this point she backed out and had nothing to do with the rest of that. Investigators then interrogate Oscar, the attacker who had stabbed himself in the leg. He said he knows it sounds crazy, but Irina had convinced him that he himself and his family were all in danger because of the hex. And Irina preyed on younger lost souls who needed a connection and guidance in their life. Oscar and Jenny were supposed to kill Lindsay, but Jenny became too scared. Oscar reached out to someone from the occult community for help, David Linder. David believed himself to be a warlock and had recently moved to the area. On the night of August 22nd, Irina confirmed that David and Oscar, they had had a seance. They were asking yes and no questions, and Irina said that she can infer the answers based on the flickering of the flame. After a few minutes, Irina announced that the candle had told her tonight was the night to kill Lindsay. Irina told Oscar and David they had to stab Lindsay in a ritual sacrifice. She also told them if they didn't complete the task, by the time the candle burnt out, their entire family would be at risk and die.
God.
Irina herself would not go with them, but she told them they weren't going alone. They were going to be accompanied by 5 demons that would help protect them. They climbed through the kitchen window, and the plan went awry almost immediately when Jacqueline Bennett woke up and walked down the hallway. They thought Jacqueline was Lindsay and attacked her. Oscar escaped after being stabbed and went to Irina's home. Later, she brought him to the hospital. After the interrogation, which led to a confession, Oscar was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Later that day, investigators secure warrants to bring Jenny and Irina back for questioning. Jenny confirms what Oscar and Misty said and admits they were brainwashed by Irina. Irina finally admits she wanted the young woman dead. In February 2006, David Linder died from his gunshot wound injuries still in the hospital. Irina's trial begins in October of 2006. Misty, Jenny, and Oscar all took the stand against her. On October 25th, 2006, the jury finds Irina guilty on all counts, After the guilty verdict was announced, Irenia threw a tantrum in the courtroom and told the judge to kiss her ass as she was taken out.
Is that a hex right there? Kiss my ass?
Maybe.
Yeah.
And she received 57 years in prison.
Wow.
So she brainwashed everybody. And this is why you don't mess with men with crazy exes. I'm just going to say.
Kenzie's Krimes.
Milwaukee police found body parts in a north side apartment.
Not because I was angry with them, not because I hated them, but because I wanted to keep them with me.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
This is evil, what those people have done to me.
C says Heaven's Gate away team.
I'm not guilty.
Q101.